Good evening, colleagues. My name is Sibalwa Hamongala. I am a Master of Project Management student from the Copperbelt University, and I'll be presenting my poster for my research, which is titled as follows: Exploring the Use of Agile Methodology in Non-Software Industries, a qualitative study of challenges and benefits. When we look at the Agile methodology, this methodology can be traced to as far back as 2001 when the Agile Manifesto was done. This manifesto was basically put together by a group of 17 software practitioners who at the time were looking for a workaround to the cumbersome methods that they had to implement in projects at that particular time. By virtue of that, the principles that were done obviously focus on the software industry. But however, when we look at the principle in itself, it has become a prevailing force when we look at project management in the 21st century. It is therefore important for us to understand how this particular principle can be applied to other industries other than the software industry. This research was a qualitative research covering professionals from several sectors. And the goal was basically to gain an in-depth and context-specific understanding of how the Agile methodology can be applied to these other industries. We had 12 participants from 5 industries, the industries being marketing, health, construction, education, and finance. Semi-structured interviews were used to collect data, with thematic analysis being applied to that data. And then NVivo was used to code the information that was extracted from the interviews that were conducted. This particular research focused on 5 basic principles. The principles being the motivation for adoption. So we needed to understand what would the motivation be for these other industries to adopt this particular phenomenon. The customization of the Agile principle, benefits that could be realized, the challenges that could be encountered, and the role of leadership and culture in implementing Agile. When we look at the motivation, the insights obtained from the research were basically, number one, the need for flexibility, responsiveness, and basically client-centric delivery of projects. These were cited as the core motivating factors for any other industry outside the software industry to basically adopt the Agile methodology. In terms of customization, adapted stand-ups, modified sprints, and hybrid frameworks were identified as some of the customizations that could be done to make the Agile framework applicable to the other industries. Some of the benefits that were cited were faster decision making, improved collaboration, transparency, and stakeholder buy-in that could be achieved if this particular principle was used. In terms of the challenges, the resistance to change, training gaps, difficulty in defining iterations, and organizational culture were all cited as possible challenges that could be encountered and need to be thought through for these industries that have been mentioned before they can actually venture into the Agile framework. The last one, which is the role of leadership and culture, the insights obtained from there were basically that leadership buy-in, providing a psychological safety net, and cultural readiness were all critical to ensuring that Agile was successful in these industries. The recommendations as follows: customizing Agile is a non-negotiable, so it has to be customized to the specific industries that need to apply it. Providing training and coaching is also critical to the success of Agile. Fostering collaboration as a culture is also very important, so leaders need to take the leading space in terms of making sure that the culture is right for this particular framework to be successful. And then ensuring leadership support and continuously monitoring improvement were also cited as very key recommendations that should be in place for Agile to be successful. In conclusion, Agile is not only limited to software. It can be applied across various sectors. What is important is ensuring that it is contextualized, that training is provided, that there's collaborative culture in place in an organization, and that leadership is in support of it, as well as just continuously monitoring outcomes to ensure that they do not deviate from what is expected from any particular project. Thank you.